Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is staying warm and dry today, especially as we've had this cold snap throughout the country, and that we've had a lot of snow throughout the United States, but I hope all of you are staying well. We have some great questions today, and I'm so excited to tackle those questions. So the first one is from Allison Kanyagi, and I hope I pronounced that name correctly. Allison describes her business as the following: digital marketing agency Alan Koyangi. I work a lot in my business and feel like it prevents me from doing or focusing on things I love to do. I also want to start a few more businesses and focus on hobbies as well. How do I hire and trying someone to replace me in the day-to-day operations? Most of all, how do I get them to be motivated and invested as I am the owner? Would you recommend I give them some equity in the business so they feel like they are contributing to something they can help to grow? Thank you for your help and expertise. This is a question that comes up all the time, and I myself am a serial entrepreneur. I've run over 25 startups, and I like always starting new things as well. First of all, there's a lot of work that goes into picking someone to replace yourself running the day to day. And even if you find a replacement, you still have to kind of oversee it. So, what I would do if I were you is that I would look for someone who's also entrepreneurial, who would work a combination of cash because they have to get paid, and bonus on performance, and earn equity over a 4 to 5 year period. That would be the best way to go about doing it. And I would find someone who is excited about your business, somebody who comes from your world, who would love to be able to be a part of something that's growing, but wants to be a partner in the business. And I wouldn't give them equity right away. I would go and see how things go in the beginning, but tell them that they can earn equity over a period of time and figure out how much equity that you'd want to give them. It could be somewhere between 5 to 10% of the company, depending on how far along you are. So if you already have a pretty big size business, then it's less equity. If you have a small business and they're going to be needed to grow that business, then you're going to be giving them more equity. And once you see what they can bring to the table, do they have the right combination of operating and sales experience? Or are you just having them run the day to day and they don't have to do any sales? You have to put together a list of the criteria that you want this person to fit. Because in most cases, like the ventures I run, I'm the face of the organization and I like going and selling the concept. So if you're still planning to do that, then that person has to be a good day-to-day operator and somebody who's very good with details. And they don't necessarily have to be good at selling, but selling, it's a really good skill to have and good for a backup, because what if you get so involved in one of your new ventures that you don't have time to sell the existing venture? So it'd be good if they had those skill sets and good at hiring those kinds of skill sets. So again, I would let all my friends know what I'm looking for. I would let the industry know what I'm looking for. I would let clients know what I'm looking for. Everyone who knows, and you give them a solid description of what you're looking for and what the compensation package is, you'll be surprised at how many people actually send you emails. And also ask your clients and your current employees what kind of personality would mesh best with you. Because even though you think you know yourself, people who work with you day to day see someone different than you see yourself. So it's good to involve your employees and clients and get their perspective of what kind of person would work best with you and with the business that you're in. And also, if in fact your agency focuses on specific industries, it would be good if those people had some experience in those industries. So when they talk to your clients, they speak the same language. Again, there's a lot to think about. You have to think about how much time you're going to spend training this person, because you're probably going to be training them for 6 months to a year, that you'll be gradually getting out of that role of running a day to day, but you probably really won't start getting out of it for about 6 months. The next question I have is from Heather Brockman. Heather talks about we currently have our on the job training set at 80 hours to cover all aspects of the company, the process, the vehicles, and all the followed by a test to make sure that they understand and can implement everything. It's paid training, of course, but the groomers who are used to making commission as a drastic change, $100 a day for paid training. This may cost me a new hire. I'm now wondering, do I keep training thorough and a mandatory 80 hours so it's the same across the board? Do we tweak it for each person? We are a high-end holistic grooming experiences for busy pet owners whose animals are part of the family. Well, whatever it takes not to degrade or diminish what you offer, and you know how much training that requires, then that's what you need to go and put in for those folks. And if you're talking about giving people a commission, are you relying on them to bring in their own customers if they're gonna get a commission, or will you be marketing and they're getting a piece of every transaction? Because that's a little bit different. If you're expecting them to go and bring in their own, that's one thing. But if you're expecting them to go and just execute on what you have, then you can set it up anyway. But maybe the commission isn't as good. Maybe it should be some cash and bonus based on performance so they work at the highest level. Of course, if you're straight commission, you would assume that they're giving their absolute best effort because they want to get that repeat business with their customers. Also, I think you have to be very particular about the kind of people that you bring in, and you should create a profile of the type of person who would be best at doing this particular job. They're probably somebody who's very meticulous, who loves dogs and cats and other animals that you work with, can show you pictures of what they've done in grooming their own animals and other people's animals. So again, I would go and put together a good profile. I would do a lot of interviewing. I would determine what is the minimum amount of training to do before I give them some assignments to test their abilities. And then once I test their abilities, I think maybe you're doing a combination of both, because I think a lot of people don't want to just get a commission because they're afraid, what if I work all day and nobody shows up to get groomed? Now I've made nothing. I'm better off going and doing it either on my own and putting my own sign out there, or I'm just better off doing some other job working something in the pet industry. The next question comes from Lindsay Lanahan. Lindsay asked, how do you settle a dispute over two employees that don't like each other? I own a chocolate business. However, my dispute is with an employee where I work. I already have gone to my manager and nothing has really been done. I want to know what the most professional way is to approach the situation. Well, Lindsay, here's the thing. If you've gone to management and they're really not listening, and you've gone to your manager, you've gone to your head of HR, then you have to think about, and it's unfortunate, you have to think about maybe moving on to a better culture. Because unless they've done something illegal, and even if they have, and you have to be realistic about this, and you get rid of them, there might be bad vibes being thrown off by that in the business that you're working in, and that could be really problematic for you. So again, if you can't work it out with this employee and you can't find a manager who will listen to you or get the two of you together to work it out, then I think you have to look to go somewhere else. You're just in a bad culture if in fact they're not willing to help you work this out so they can keep you. And again, I'm sorry if you've tried working it out with this person that didn't go, but that's probably the best thing I would do if I were you. Judith Garcia talks about, if I want to own a salon, would I have to learn to perform the services offered, or can I simply hire employees for this and just arrange? I'm looking to open a salon with two friends, one who is a nail tech and the other specializes in lash extensions. I would just own and operate the business unless it's best to learn a salon skill. I don't think you should ever, and I would never do this, I would never get into a business that I didn't spend time in and learn how to operate that business. If you don't spend the time in learning that particular business, you can be taken advantage of. You can make mistakes that would have been avoidable if you did it. I once had a friend that decided to open up a bistro. And I suggested to him, why don't you go work at a restaurant or a bistro to really understand the ins and outs of it? Oh, how hard can it be? I've eaten at plenty of places. I'll hire good people and I'll just oversee it all. 6 months later, $250,000 spent. He was out of business and in debt after blowing through $250,000 of his own money. The best thing you can do in any venture that you get into is spend time working in that particular industry to learn that business. Because there may be a day your technician can't come in and now you have to substitute for them. Just the other day, one of my clients who runs a very, very large confectionery company, one of his drivers couldn't make it in and nobody was available. He literally had to drive an 18-wheeler truck himself. He had to know how to drive an 18-wheeler truck and deliver the product himself. And he has a company that has 200 employees. So he made sure that when he was learning the business from his father, he learned every single aspect of the business and spent time. And now his son is in the business and his son is being rotated through all the positions. So you never want to get into a business where you don't understand and know all the aspects. It's one thing if you are a silent partner in investing in people who really know the business and they're going to run it. But if you're responsible for an aspect of the business, best thing to do is get some experience first and then jump in. This next question comes from Lindsay Grifka. Lindsay writes, how do I get the attention of the buyer after I receive their personal email or purchasing team email from a cold call to the dispensary? I have been calling dispensaries and have been getting personal emails or buying team emails from the bud tender. I'm currently writing an email to them as soon as I hang up. It reads, hi, I just spoke with this particular bud tender, about my new line of cannabis storage accessories and grinders that are really taking off. He and she recommended I email you to schedule a call. When are you free to chat a bit more about my innovative line? The subject is either bling blunts at dispensary name or hey, person's name. Sometimes I think I include pictures of bestsellers and other times I do not. I haven't received emails back yet, but I just started this yesterday, so I'm being patient. All of the dispensaries have already received 3 emails prior to my calls with an intro to the brand, but typically those emails went to the general box. Thank you, Lindsay. So, Lindsay, first of all, you do have to be patient when you send emails out. You should probably give people a week to go and respond before you follow up with a phone call. But you want to put in the subject heading not something like hey or bling blunts. You want to put in something that grabs their attention. Something like new cannabis product increases profits by 40%. New innovative cannabis product for the masses, something that's going to trigger them to want to read this email. And then I would get right into, after you say, hope you having a great day, to right into why you're reaching out to them, what the product does, and no more than 2-3 paragraphs at the most, but shorter the better. If you could even do it in a paragraph, that would be great. But you have to go and give them a good subject heading and make them open it up. And if you did talk to somebody in the organization, you could go and write on the subject matter, referred by John Smith, referred by Mary Smith. And so if they see it's somebody they recognize, they'll open up and read it. But if you don't know anybody in that organization, the best thing to do is give them a reason why they should open it up and be very professional and very businesslike. Don't be casual when you're writing to people because they don't know you, and all they're thinking about during that day is business. It's not like you're meeting somebody on Match.com or OkCupid or something. This is serious business, and you want to come across as serious, and you want to deliver your product and your messaging in a way that they'll respect you. So keep it short, tell them why this is good for them and what the profits that they can make off it, because all their interest at the end of the day is helping them sell more, make more, and have fatter margins. The next question comes from Kimberly Vincent. Kimberly writes, how do I recruit more massage therapists into my team when I'm hearing the word on the street, it's a small town, is that I'm hard to work for based on these two past employees? I've owned my massage therapy and wellness clinic in a smaller city for nearly 20 years. We have an excellent reputation for the work that we do for our clients. I've always done my best to support my staff. About a year ago, I hired two friends who over time became difficult to lead, and I struggled to keep them happy, although I didn't want to let them go because they were busy and created decent revenue for the clinic. Eventually, the relationship deteriorated and they both left my clinic, but not without taking to social media and word of mouth afterwards with complaints and even falsehoods about me as a boss and a therapist, to the point that I had to issue cease and desist letters from my lawyer's office. In a small town, these things can cause serious impact. Now, 6 months later, as I'm struggling to grow my team again, I'm hearing that possible candidates aren't applying because they heard that I'm hard to work for. I'm really struggling with this because I know I did everything I could for them and it still ended badly. I need to grow my team, and I appreciate your advice and taking time to answer my question. Well, first of all, I'm sorry what you went through, and I've gone through the similar thing. In fact, I worked with one of my closest friends growing up. Our fathers played cards together. Our mothers were like sisters, and it turned out so badly that we haven't talked in 14 years. And the lesson I learned from that is avoid hiring friends to work with. No matter how much you think that they're great and you get along great on a social level, it's pretty rare that this works out in a professional level. And I can tell you from doing 30 years of consulting that the number of people who go into business with best friends or very close friends and make it is pretty rare because everybody has a different view of how much work they should put in, the standards, and you probably had a problem with their standards. Like they did the work, it was good, but it wasn't up to your level. And even when you told them it wasn't up to your level, they're looking at you like, well, I mean, it's good enough. And so that puts you in a bad position. And even though you try to explain to them what you're talking about, now those people end up leaving and bad-mouthing you. And now you know what kind of people they were from the beginning because they didn't take a look at themselves and say, I could have been better, or I feel like I let my friend down. They didn't look at that way at all. So when you are recruiting people out there, you should ask friends, you should ask clients to recommend people that they think would be good and say, look, we're looking for people at very high standards. We're looking for people who work really hard. The people who left and wrote the things that they wrote, it just wasn't for them. They were good people. I would always take the high road. They were good people, but this wasn't a fit for them. And obviously they got frustrated, and hence they acted out like kids act out when they're upset about things. But the fact is, it wasn't a good fit for them, and I'm sorry that it wasn't. But we want to keep up these high standards, hence why you keep coming back to us, because I expect this. So it's not that I'm hard to work with. It's just that I work hard for all of my customers and expect the people who work here to give them the same high level of service that I do. And I think your customers will be very good at helping you recruit because they will know people. And I would let it go. Let them talk all they want. Even though you're in a small town, eventually people start looking at people like that and wonder, why are they saying those things? why aren't they just keeping their mouth shut and moving on? It wasn't like that you did horrible things to them. It just wasn't a fit. And again, they should have valued the relationship. But I experienced the same thing that you did. And I have to tell you that I learned a lot from that lesson. And one is, rarely should you ever work with close friends. It rarely ever works out unless you know those people have the same high standard as you and will take responsibility when things aren't working out. Mark McDowell writes, how important are business cards today, and what things should I be sure to include in design that's important? I'm looking to update my business card. Currently, I have a templated type card. I like it, but I want something different. Are business cards really as important of a tool as they used to be? What kind of things can I include on the card to really make them stand out? And is the investment worth it? I focus on small and medium-sized businesses. I still think once we're done with COVID, that business cards are still worth it. I have business cards for each of my ventures. And I don't think you want to get overly fancy and have too much information on it. But what I do is I have my picture on it so people remember me. I have the name of the company, my email address and phone number, not my address. And I put in what I think is important for them to remember on the card. So for Kramer Communications, my marketing firm, I mentioned the 6 books that I've written for McGraw-Hill, Prentice Hall, people like that. For Stress-Free Family Business, the consulting I do for family business, I mentioned some of the work that I do in transitioning. So I give them some bullets on that card about what I do. So I think cards are still worth it. I still like to give them and collect them. Now, everybody is using LinkedIn. And I find the problem with LinkedIn is, and it's very good, I've gotten a lot of good contacts at it, is that rarely do people list their phone numbers. So it's hard to go and find those phone numbers. Often they don't have their email addresses in the contact information on LinkedIn. So if I'm networking at a party or I'm going to an event, I like to have business cards and I think they're worthwhile. But I also don't think that you have to make them overly creative. I think when people look at a card, they're just looking for the information. Some people say, well, you have to have a card that follows through with your brand. What are you trying to communicate? And I think in some cases that's fine. It all depends on the business. If you're a lawyer or accountant or you're a business consultant, basic business cards with the right information is good. If in fact you're selling a dog grooming business, you might have a dog on there being groomed, so it reminds people about what you do. Or if you have a certain logo that you like to use, so people, when they see that logo, they'll identify with it. But I still think business cards are worthwhile. I know I'm 60, maybe it's old school, but I find that even younger people, like my daughter who has a global business, she carries business cards and she does like I do. A lot of times I get cards from people and I make notes on the back, things that you just can't get. And also, if you meet somebody and you try to do the LinkedIn right there at the meeting, sometimes that works out fine. Sometimes everybody's too busy and then it gets difficult. Of course, you can always ask people at the event or somebody who knows people to give you the list of people at the event and then write to them on that. But again, I think the business cards are definitely worthwhile. You never know who you're going to meet. I once met somebody in the train. I gave them my card. They gave me their card. I got a $120,000 contract from them to do consulting work for them. The next question is from Yolandi DeGuvia. She writes, best way to raise capital during the early stages of your business. Boy, this is right up my alley. We produce and sell decorative pillow covers. We want to expand by manufacturing pillow inserts. We resell inserts at the moment, and it's about 50% of our income monthly. Making these ourselves, we drive our costs down to a 1/3 of the current cost and save on shipping to us. This will give us a competitive advantage on Amazon and Walmart marketplaces. Purchasing the equipment and raw stock will be around $90,000, retail value of $700K. So it will leave a lot of room for us to offer wholesale pricing. We'll be the only manufacturer in the Valley, which is a huge market advantage. Who do I approach? Venture capital, angel investors, private investors? I have my business plan, projections, at least 2 years of financials, business assets all ready to go. We're a mother-daughter team that designs and creates custom decorative throw pillows for home and business branding. Okay, so first of all, you're not going to go to venture capitalists, not until you grow a really sizable business. You would be going to angel investors. Think Shark Tank. Watch Shark Tank. Exactly what they ask is what you'll be asked by outside investors, and that is this proprietary? How much equity do I have to give up? But most importantly, how are sales right now? Are sales growing month after month? Are the margins fat? If you did this all yourself, are you constrained by how much you could go and produce? Is it really cheaper for you to go and do it yourself than outsource it to another country and have it delivered? How many commercial clients do you currently have, and how much is that growing? Or are you totally reliant on selling over the internet and Amazon? Are you reliant on people just looking for pillow covers? Or are you proactively marketing on Facebook because it's more like a business to consumer product? Are you buying ads on Facebook? Are you buying ads on Google? Are you doing email marketing campaigns? But for you to get an investor, especially with all the companies looking for money, and think about that, there's so many people looking for money that if you have very little revenue and it's not growing month to month, you're not going to get an investor because the investor has so many choices of where to put their money. So the thing you need to do is you really need to probably get to 250,000 to $500,000 worth of business in a year, but showing that month after month you're growing and where you're getting your clients from, that you're not just dependent on the net, that you have different sources. And I did like this idea that you created covers for businesses to brand themselves and be able to give that out as gifts. I thought that's a pretty cool idea, and I hadn't seen that, but it makes perfect sense to me. But you will be definitely going to angel investors, and probably the first group of investors you're going to, I hate to tell you, is probably friends and family, because they believe in you, they trust you, and that they'll want to help you. That being said, don't accept any money from friends and family if you know that their personalities are that they worry about money all the time and they can't afford to lose it. When I've gotten money from friends and family into a venture, I always made sure I tell them, more than likely, we're going to lose every dime here. I just want to tell you that up front. I don't think that we will, but you have to realize that the odds against us making it, no matter how hard we work, are against us. But if we do make it, you're going to do very well, because not only will you have equity, but in your type of business, I'd probably say you should do some kind of profit sharing with them. Hence why Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank always asks for, he'll take some equity, but he wants a residual on everything that sells, so he gets his money back and maybe makes 2 or 3 times his money and then rides out the rest on the equity. So you have to structure it in a way that somebody will want to get into it, but your most likely investors are people who know you, trust you, and like the product. You might even let investors know, let some of your customers know that you're looking for investors, and if you have repeat customers who like your product, they might want to invest with you. Now, before you even do that, you need to go to an attorney who's done angel deals and find the angel club in your area and ask them what lawyers they might recommend who could put these deals together, because every state has different laws about raising capital. And of course, you could go on crowdfunding because you have maybe a really cool product that shows well on crowdfunding, and you might find people who want to buy either product up front or they might want to invest. I probably would sell the product up front in crowdfunding if you could come up with some cool things on that. Well, our last question is from Morgan Katz. What recommendations do you have for launching a new product to current clients? I don't have any besides in our heads as to how we'll do things, and would really like to make things easier for all of us. I feel this would give us the clarity to keep growing and teach how we do things as a team. I have an air conditioning and heating business in the Los Angeles, Hollywood, San Fernando Valley areas. Thank you in advance. Well, I always like the idea of coming up with new products, and I think that people love to be challenged internally and allows them to come up with great ideas. And also, when I do it, I also tell the employees, if you come up with an idea, you get a share of the profits. Because so many times I saw large companies basically saying to people, well, I employ you. Your job is to come up with new products. But I think a way to really encourage people where they're thinking about your business 24/7 is to know that if they come up with something and you put your money into it, that they can benefit by this, that they're going to get not only their salary, but a percentage of the profits that come from that business. And then you'll find you'll be attracting really smart people to do that. I once did with a client of mine where we marketed out to people saying that we were looking for new products that could be used, like specialty item products that could put people's brands on it. And if we liked what they saw, we would invest in those products and split the profits 50-50 after the cost of developing the product and manufacturing it. Within weeks, we had 500 different ideas that came to us. So you could create the same thing for your space and saying, we're looking for new ideas. And you can write to inventors clubs around the country and you can find great ideas. In fact, this was such a hit with my client, that his clients wanted to ask him if he could do something similar for them. So that's what I would do is I would talk to your people, do some brainstorming sessions out of the office, and maybe even going to a quiet bar where you can have an assortment of great snacks and beer, and talk about your current clients, potential opportunities out there, and what kind of products could we actually deliver to them that would be a real enhancement that they would want to buy, and also let the world know that you're willing to invest in new products in your particular space. Well, I love these questions. These were pretty awesome questions. I hope all of you enjoyed it as well. I thank you for participating today, and please don't hesitate to send us more questions. We like doing it and we like answering them. Have a great, safe weekend. Please make sure you're double masking. And if you're in areas where there's snow, try not to drive. Just go and enjoy some good movies on Netflix and some of the other channels, or read, even better, a great book. Have a great day and a great weekend.